For Gravity Golf fans, this is the last book that David Lee wrote before he passed away in the middle of 2022. He asked me to co-author it with him. Now, if you look at the subtitle, you can see if you know how to move properly, you can putt with almost anything. So let me show you what I mean by that. This is the cover that we wanted to have on the book, but we just couldn't get a high enough resolution. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So watch this. Putting with the chair. So I snapped this shot right here. I did a screenshot, and we tried to get a high enough res for the cover, but we just couldn't do it. So that's what that subtitle means. You can putt with anything if you learn how to move your body properly. Now, David, I mean, this guy could putt. It's really quite amazing. David Lee is so worthwhile learning about if you have not yet. And you might say, well, like, where's the evidence of this? Well, how about this? How many teaching pros do you think Lee Trevino does clinics with, or did clinics with? I mean, David Lee was, well, you'll see, David Lee was the only guy that Lee Trevino would trust with his swing. How do we know this? Well, because you can see on the back cover of the book, Lee Trevino, David Lee would be the only guy I trust to work on my swing. Jack Nicklaus, I give my personal endorsement and full support of your methods. And Chichi Rodriguez said, David Lee might be the greatest teacher that ever lived. Well, why is that the case? It's because he developed drills that help to train people with less natural ability to move more like pros. So let me show you an example of this. This is David's greatest drill. Oh, also real quick before I show you that, most of you have heard of Jim McLean. His golf school at Miami. I think he was at Doral is where he was originally. I forget. Either way, though, how many of the top teaching professionals invite other guys in to do a clinic for their instructors? So that's how good David Lee was. And this is an example of why. And they actually teach these instructors live to do this drill that I'm going to show you right here. So this is David talking about his turnaround drill. Watch this. It's amazing.
Golly, the drill is absolutely amazing. I am learning so much from studying this.
Now notice where this golfer ends up after doing the drill, where he ends up on his his lead heel hip axis. This is the position that all pros end up in. So David Lee's drills train the body to move efficiently without having to be trapped in the constipated world of swing positions. Like, how could you possibly, well, I'll show you the next one. How could you possibly teach swing positions? Like, put your hand here, elbow here, track it there, blah, 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 when you're doing this thing. Here comes a lefty.
People. I've learned more about our other group.
Notice also the lead, heel, hip axis. And then the final drill is coming up. Get to it. Oh, let's go right through. Only a couple more seconds.
And how people tend to want to fake them. I've learned about how people think.
So, unbelievable drills that David has developed. This is his absolute best drill. Now, me as a 62-year-old, I can do this drill, just not quite as graceful as this, so I haven't created a video of me doing this drill yet because I don't want to look like a spaz doing it. I mean, I'm not that spazzy, but I'm not remotely as graceful as these, really. I mean, these guys all, on their own swing, they got PGA Tour caliber swings. And they developed it by learning David's drills. That is why I think it's a good idea for people to check out his information. So in this particular book, David asked me because to help him write it because, well, he knew he was dying at that point. He gave me a call when he found out in March that he had pancreatic cancer, if I'd help him finish up this last book. And the reason why is because of my background as a chiropractor and doing actual swing research myself over 20 years ago and knowing about things like this right here. Oops, where we go? There we go. So this is the chapter that I wrote exclusively, and then I bled this information into the other chapters, so body movement stability and the short game. So in the rehabilitation world, particularly the functional rehabilitation world that physical therapists and chiropractors do, the term proximal or core stability for distal mobility. and David developed a stabilizing position for us. He called it a two-way stretch, where you kind of vertically and rotary do a stabilizing move, and then uh, swing the putter and the club for short shots, as well as when using his drills. Now, these drills are either available currently on the Gravity Golf YouTube channel, or will be, or on the Gravity Golf site. And I'm not sure exactly of the time the time for that, but I absolutely suggest that you check this out. Now, for me personally, I think David Lee, well, his ideas were so good. Chapter 16, you can see, this is my book. This is my book. And chapter 16 was devoted to his legwork drill. And then after he passed away, I wrote a tribute appendix to him with more information about him and his ideas. And just, I mean, what a great guy, and what a great mind for golf. So if you have an interest and you have $12, check out this book.